So it heightens your emotions 10x. And it's the same with alcohol. People think that they're just normal on alcohol, right? No, same shit. All your emotions get heightened. You drink alcohol when you're sad and you're going to be sadder. And you drink alcohol when you're celebrating and you're celebrating hard, right? Party hard.
Yeah.
And it's the same with steroids. But the difference is on alcohol, you just have one day. On steroids, you have 12 weeks.
The relationships and gear is something that I found that no one really tells you about until you end up on it. And it's,
End up divorced and single.
Well, yeah, exactly. And so you'll see these little stories and you're like, no, like that's not really going to be me. Right. And then even me, man, like I do my first cycle and I jumped straight to 300 milligrams of testosterone. And for reference, my natural testosterone was 301 nanograms per deciliter total test.
Oh, wow. So you went 10x.
Yeah, pretty much. And so the spike I wasn't expecting. I was like, yeah, 300 is pretty low. I probably don't need a bridge to that. I guess I probably did. Because the estrogen fluctuation, like there's like a day where I'm like on the corner of the road, like crying, and then I'm yelling at my roommates, and then I'm like thinking that I don't really like my girlfriend at the time, and I'm like, we can't do this anymore. I'm breaking up with you. Like just so all over the place. Did not expect like mood swings like that. But I think people focus a ton on the physical side effects. The mental ones are a lot harder to quantify, but this stuff can like really reorient your life if you're not bracing yourself for it.
It's very true. Like, and especially when you start at 300 nanograms per deciliter and then you go to 3,000, which is give or take where most people end up on 300 milligrams, of steroids per week. It's a 10x. So it heightens your emotions 10x. And it's the same with alcohol. People think that they're just normal on alcohol, right? No, same shit. All your emotions get heightened. You drink alcohol when you're sad and you're going to be sadder. And you drink alcohol when you're celebrating and you're celebrating hard, right? Party hard.
Yeah.
It's the same with steroids, but the difference is on alcohol, you just have one day. On steroids, you have 12 weeks, 16 weeks.
Yep.
Blasting and cruising for 10 years like I did, you don't even come off. So you're always in this heightened state. And then coming off of that, and then you realize, is my emotions blunted? Am I like apathic? Anhedonia? That kind of stuff? Because you've been in this heightened state for such a long time that you come down. And it's a big difference. I mean, coming off the last cycle, which was about a gram of steroids combined, and then coming down to HCG and FSH for fertility purposes. I mean, it's a huge difference. I mean, the drive isn't there, and the libido isn't there, and the motivation isn't there, and just the decision-making process, like a finite decision-making process that you have on TRT or more, isn't there. So you kind of go in circles, like, should I do this? Should I do that? It's very confusing. Even when you're 40 years old, man, it will still be the same. So I can't imagine what it's like when you're younger, because, I mean, I did have that, I think when I was 26, when I went on cycle, but my life kind of changed because the business consultancy field was going bankrupt. It was in an economic crisis, just like it is an economic crisis now. I decided to stop that being employed and then doing my own thing. So my cycle, I was literally full-time bodybuilding for the first time in my life because I didn't have any other obligations. So I could kind of deal with it because there was no roller coaster and I had enough money in the bank. But I think when you start like that young and then you're still going to school and trying to impress girls and the girl tells you that you're short, even though you're fucking wide.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, it's probably hard to deal with, So did you make up with your girlfriend after going through that roller coaster on your first cycle?
There's been some roller coasters since then. So, not really, but it's things come and go anyway. And that's another temptation, is to always blame the gear for things, where it's like, do I actually have feelings for her, or is it because I'm on cycle? Or, I have some friends who they tell me about their NPP experience, and I don't know the meaning of this, but they seem to be very attracted to the higher body fat percentage women.
Yeah, the fat chicks.
Yeah.
On nandrolone and trenbolone, man, it goes down. I don't know if all this progesterone makes you just want to spread the love and the semen around, but no, I see here in Thailand, it's even worse because you have all these guys on trenbolone, right? They're trying to recomp. They go to Thailand for their steroid holiday, and they bang trannies.
Yeah.
And they say, I can't help myself on this trend. I just want to fuck the Ladyboys. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? It's a common joke, you take them out to the entertainment area and say, what about this bar? Cockatoo. So what do you think that bar is about? The banana bar. What do you think this bar is about? I said, I want to have a look. And then you can't drag them out of it. And then 6 weeks later, they're off the train and they feel embarrassed.
Exactly. They think back on everything they've done and they're like, oh, no. Yeah. Like all of it comes back to you. You're like, I guess I did do that. Whoops.
Yeah.
That's
But all those sophomore girls that are a little bit chunky, they love the guys on Tren, probably. Because they finally get a little bit of action, piece of the pie as well. They're banging all the short dudes on Tren.
Everyone gets the love. It all balances out, right? It's great.
Same as well, when I was younger, we'd used to go to these raves, and then you have MDMA, right? They're the recreational drugs, and it's the same. Right? You get all lovey and feely, and a 6 looks like an 8, and a 4 looks like a 7. And it's like, that's good enough. And it's dark, right? You don't see anything. Oh, man. Yeah. And then you have to live with that for the rest of your life.
Yeah, the rave culture has been very popular, overlapped with bodybuilding. I imagine there was a lot of overlap back in the day. People want to look good for the raves, and so they get into it there. But it's definitely been alive and well, even into the modern age. And it's really delicate to deal with because you have these guys that are basically peaking for a rave like it's a show. Why you banging all these orals in your body and you're really like redlining yourself, and then you're going to go dance in a hot crowd for like 8 hours straight. That's a recipe
with
for
MDMA
disaster.
and
Coke all the rec drugs.
All the straight drugs. Which again, I'm not against, because I can't preach, because I used to take rec drugs when I was younger, but I stopped by the time I went the bodybuilding route. So I did all my partying and all these raves. I mean, Holland, the raves are gigantic, dude. We had the biggest raves. Right? Yeah, 50,000 people. It was unheard of back then, 70,000. Besides the Love Parade, which was in Germany, that's 1 million people. 1 million people following these buses around. Yeah. It's crazy part of that. And drugs would have been handed out readily because Holland produces that. So you can get ecstasy tablets for €1 or for a guilder. That's the previous currency. It was so cheap, dude. Yeah. Right? And high purity too. So we're talking about 70 milligrams, not 200 milligrams like you need to take nowadays. Yeah. It's, and you see a lot of people, exactly like you said, you either come from the recreational drug phase where the entry to steroids is easier because you're used to taking drugs. So you go from one drug to the next. And then instead of going to all these raves and partying and meeting people there, you go to the same thing, but in the gym, right? Going to the gym multiple times per day. You're very social, very active, talking with people all the time, hitting up girls. So it's the same as what you would do with raves. Yeah. And then the drug of choice changes from recreational to performance enhancing. It's, I mean, there's clear correlation. It works the other way also, backwards. Ask Dorian Yates. Yeah. I mean, he did it the other opposite way, right? He went from hardcore bodybuilding from 18 to, early 30s. He won all these Mr. Olympias, and now he's doing recreational drugs and coke and ayahuasca and whatever else. And now he's a full yogi doing yoga. So you go through these phases in life, but you're right. Yeah. I mean, the threshold to do something else is so much lower. I do think there's just something to say for all of it, because you kind of enrich your personality as long as you don't do it too frequently. Because all the people that I know that used to rave and are still going out and they did recreational drugs for decades, ooh, that's rough, dude. Those guys.
Yeah. You're chasing a dying high. I mean, at a certain point, your body's sensitivity to it is just basically shot. Especially if you're going to keep like bumping up the number of pills that you're taking every weekend. You're just chewing them like little gummy bears at that point. And what are you really getting out of that besides damage?
Not much. No. Yeah. No. And these guys can't stop because they're semi-addicted to the whole dance culture,
Yeah.
It's, I think Nyle Nayga does it really, really well because he likes a rave as well. And he's on performance enhancing drugs, but during that time, he doesn't really take Rex. And then he just goes out with his food and Tupperware and protein and just dances for 8 hours. And that's how he stays lean.
Yeah, get the cardio in, exactly.
He gets the cardio in, it's hilarious. And then on his story, he's just sharing what he's doing, and he's not intoxicated at all. Right? Yeah. Usually by the time it's 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, the jaws start going all over the screen with most party goers. The pupils go.
I love the rave scene, although I've definitely been going sober, and I do like it quite a bit. So I really like Nyle being in that space and saying something positive about you can still go out and have a really good time. You know, you don't need to be taking every drug under the sun to enjoy it and to be fully a part of that scene. It's really cool.
Exactly. You can be like the trip sitter, you know, for most guys who drive them home. And then if you do want to take something, okay, that's fine. We just come off everything. You know, I think you can only do so much damage to your body at one time. So if you're completely off, right, or maybe just TRT, and you want to do something in the comfort of your home or go to a rave, that's totally fine. But don't expect to look like Ziz at the rave where you're all jacked and tanned and super shredded, and you can, you know, take your shirt off for all the girls or walk around shirtless and get all this attention, because it just doesn't go well together at the same time. You know, I mean, I knew guys that would take clenbuterol 120 micrograms per day all the way up to the rave, and then take MDMA. I mean, imagine how much heart damage you're inducing.
Yeah, your heart's gonna explode at that point. I mean,
and then dancing for 8 hours, not eating, of course.
Yeah.
It did look good though, but for how long? I don't think it's sustainable at all.
No, that's not.